This screencast is to show the mechanism for the formation of an enamine from acetophenone plus the secondary amine diethylamine. The first step in the reaction is protonation of the ketone on the oxygen to give us this positively charged intermediate. The next step of the reaction involves attack of the nucleophile, the secondary amine, on the positively charged carbon. That gives us an intermediate that has a positive charge on the nitrogen atom. So proton on, something happens. The next step will be proton off. I'm using a generic base to show the deprotonation step. The base could be an amine molecule, it could be the ketone. Either one would work, and both are possible. So the next step, proton on, something happens, proton off. So now we're at the proton off step to give us a neutral intermediate. So proton on, something happens, proton off, kick. The next step is proton on. The proton on in this step is likely to come on the water. It could go back on the nitrogen, and that would basically lead us back to the step where we were before. All the steps in this reaction are reversible. So if we protonate at the alcohol, we're going to turn the water to the OH into a better leaving group. Since now the leaving group would be a neutral water molecule. So proton on, something happens. Something that happens here is water leaving. When water leaves, that gives us this intermediate that has a positive charge on the carbon next to the amine. When we had amines, we lost a proton on the nitrogen to get the imine. That was with the primary amine. With the secondary amine, there's not another hydrogen left on the nitrogen. So the very final step, removing the last proton, happens at the carbon atom that's adjacent to the carbon with the plus charge to give us an enamine. So this mechanism is exactly the same as the one for an imine until the very final step when the deprotonation happens.